Hi, I'm Dylan Wilson. I'm a recent graduate at Camden County High School. I started coming to church around 6th grade time frame. One of my buddies invited me. I was on and off on some Sundays, and then he eventually invited me to Chaos around my 7th grade year. And I was like iffy on it, but I decided to go, and it was amazing. I'd never had an experience like that before. I was getting more acquainted with it and everything. Then I went to one of my leaders, and I was talking to him about baptism because I had seen one of my friends get baptized, and I was wondering just what it meant, how it was affecting people. And I made the choice in 9th grade to get baptized, and it changed everything. My whole life, I was seeing through like a rose-colored lens. The world wasn't as dark as I had thought it was. I developed a better relationship with my mom. I got way more involved in the church. I started coming every Sunday, every Wednesday. There were hardships I would have, and I would go to my leaders, and they would help me with them, and it would be like the problem never happened. I eventually was like, man, this helped me so much. How can this help other people? I hadn't really invited too many people. I mean, I had brought up the fact that I'd gone to church to some of my friends, but never really was like, hey, come on, until my junior year when I had met probably my best friend ever. I was like, you know what? I don't think I can keep going on without this guy. So I invited him to church with me one day. He came in and he was like, wow, this is amazing. And he's been coming with me every Wednesday ever since then. This senior year, I was all over it. I was like, you know what? Let's get everybody we can. And I invited so many of my friends. I've noticed their lives have changed. My life has changed in the fact that I've gotten to see my friends grow, not only in their personal relationships, but in their relationship with Christ. It made the whole high school experience a lot more comfortable. I felt like I was closer with my friends, and there was more we could do rather than just talk about school or talk about what's happening after school. We actually had something to talk about, like they could have problems with what they're thinking about with church, and I could help them, or if I couldn't help them, I would guide them to one of our small group leaders. They would give them the information they needed, and they'd go off and spread the word about as good as you can. One of the cooler things that I've gotten to experience is seeing some of the people that I've invited actually get baptized. Seeing them take those next steps that I took when I was a freshman really makes me think about it, Like these people are either they've never come to church, or they've been to church and they've fallen out, but they're deciding to change their lives. 2 of my buddies recently got baptized. I'm so happy to see that. I prayed they would, and it just so happened that they did. I was really glad to know that they were willing to take their next steps to follow Jesus as I have. And I think one of my favorite ones so far is my little sister. She's barely been to church, but she decided, my brother's leaving soon, I think I'll join. And she came to the church, and just like that, it was one of her first times ever here, and she felt such a strong connection. We went home that night, and she talked with me about it, she talked with my mom about it, and she made the decision to get baptized. And that was something really influential on me, because that's someone so close to me that I would literally do anything for, and I didn't expect for her to make that decision so early. And knowing that she came here a few times and had a connection so strong that she felt like making that decision really made me realize how important it is to show other people, how much God has impacted your life. If I could definitely tell myself something, it would be to start inviting people sooner. And even then, you don't have to go back in time to invite people. You can start right now. It's anybody, anywhere, at any time can invite anyone.
Hi, my name is Christian, and Dylan Wilson invited me to church.
Hi, my name is Bo, and Dylan Wilson invited me to church.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and Dylan Wilson invited me to church.
I'm Natalie, and Dylan Wilson invited me to church.
Hi, I'm Titus House, and Dylan Wilson invited me to church.
I'm Leah Evertson, and Dylan Wilson invited me to church.
I'm Roger Dow, and Dylan Wilson invited me to church.
Hi, I'm Josiah, and Dylan Wilson invited me to church.
Hi, I'm Jaron, and Dylan Wilson invited me to church.
Hello, I'm Christian, and Dylan Wilson invited me to church.
Hi, my name is Michaela, and I was invited to church by Dylan Wilson.
Hi, my name's
Jason, Michaela Saputo, my daughter, invited me to Christ Church. I've been coming here about a year now. I just finished Rooted, and it inspired me to serve, and I am currently serving the audiovisual for the services, and I just can't wait to see where my journey with Christ takes me.